Hello and welcome to the next Lukozer retro game review video. And for this one, yep, we're still on the old coin ops. This is Dragon Breed, and this was released in 1989, and it's by Irem. Now, the fact that this game is by Irem, well, tells me one thing. And I think eventually it will tell you something as well. Now, okay, I've already reviewed an Irem coin op, which was Moon Patrol, and I quite liked it. Can't deny that. I thought it was a decent game. But then that game came out in 1982, and it was before Irem hit upon this brainwave that arcade shooters should be so fucking ridiculously hard that you cannot in any way actually enjoy playing it. That certainly seemed to be Irem's idea when in 1987 they decided to infest the world with R-Type. Yeah, I know a lot of people like R-Type, but I'm not a lot of people, and R-Type is, I think that is the arcade game that I detest above all others. And this game, although it doesn't look much like R-Type as far as, you know, the actual main character who you control, the gameplay that is very much in the R-Type mould, and so it's the difficulty level, and so is the amount of enjoyment to be gathered from this game, i.e. none. It's way too fucking hard. It's all very well for Irem to show, you know, total contempt towards anybody stupid enough to play their games, but, you know, to then say, oh, you know, charging money in order to have a go is something else. Okay, you have to be a decent, you know, shoot 'em up player to be able to get anywhere, but how are you going to become a decent shoot 'em up player when the games are so fucking difficult that in order to get anywhere you have to spend a fucking fortune, by which time you are so frustrated you would rather put a sledgehammer through the thing and be done for criminal damage than to actually play the fucking thing ever again. But that was Irem's philosophy. Consequently, playing a game like R-Type or this, and even more so R-Type 2, the coin-op versions, was so frustrating that you would end up playing a game like Gradius 3 or Gradius 4 because it's a lot fairer. The reason that I particularly detest Irem is the fact that by releasing R-Type, they basically, the fact that R-Type was released and successful meant that it was okay to continue making shoot 'em ups that fucking difficult. So of course Gradius followed suit. The first Gradius game was, you know, enjoyable. It was actually fun, and it was possible to progress somewhere, as indeed was Salamander when that came along, when it was being advertised as the sequel. But because R-Type then set the standard that shoot 'em up should be ridiculously fucking hard, Konami followed suit with Gradius, and so we ended up with Vulcan Venture, and then Gradius 3, and then Gradius 4, and so on. And other shoot 'em ups followed suit, and it ended up that what was a very popular arcade game genre, made popular by the likes of Space Invaders, had now become the domain of people who were phenomenal games players only, and people who just, you know, would occasionally pay a trip to the arcades and thought, yeah, I'll have a few games, you know, a few goes of some arcade games. No, they weren't going to, well, I mean, they could do it, but they would just be wasting their money and they wouldn't be enjoying the experience one bit. And so, yeah, I lay the blame squarely with Irem for that. And that's why I detest them. They are my most hated of arcade game developers. I say, shoot 'em ups were, I mean, they allowed you to make some sort of progress. They had a gentle, you know, difficulty curve. They have a very easy playing system, just fucking point and shoot. Just like, you know, Space Invaders, Asteroids, Defender, Galaxians, Galaga, you know, all of the classics. They allowed you to play for a while because, you know, they were fairly simple. They did get difficult, but you'd been able to get, you know, a decent amount of game time under your belt before that happened. Not anymore. Anyway, let's bung a couple of credits in then and get this fucking thing over with. Now we can't skip this intro sequence, which I think goes on a bit too long. So anyway, you're this fucking anime looking cunt and you get on the back of the dragon and off we go. Now the dragon works in the same way as the shield works in R-Type. Indeed, you only lose a life if the bloke who's riding the back of the dragon is hit by a shot. The dragon is invincible, so the dragon can be hit anywhere. The dragon can be hit anywhere and he's fine. But if the person riding him gets hit anywhere, then no, oh, fuck's sake, then no, game over. Now I had to do 4 audio tests in order to get this audio setting right, because this game is fucking loud. And throughout that time, I was able to make it to the boss without losing a life. Now, of course, I'm doing the video of the review, so yes, of course, I'm gonna fuck it up all the time. So I've already lost 2 lives and I've got fuck all nowhere. So anyway, those 2 power-ups I've picked up allow me to use the old dragon breath. Now what I want to do, yeah, is get down here and land, but I fucked it up because I landed at the wrong time and I was surrounded by enemy ships that were all blowing the fuck out of me. So of course, yes, I'm now doing the video and that means I'm playing the game like shit. I do hate Irem games for being too hard, but I'm making the game look about 50 times harder than it actually is. In fact, at the moment, I am not just fucked off with Irem for producing games like this, I'm currently fucked off with myself for making such a bollocks up of it. So I need to try and get shot of all them before I landed. So anyway, yes, that's another feature. You can land on these like various sort of, I guess you can call them islands, and you can shoot at enemies while you're there, but most of the time you're going there because there are other power-ups that you want to pick up. Now on this particular island here, the only thing I want to pick up is that red power-up there. There is another power-up, that white one, but I don't want that. Right, so pick it up. Now let's piss off. See if we can actually get somewhere now. Now that yellow power up there, I don't want that either. So now you get this bastard, so you hold down the fire button and use it like the shots in R-Type, you know, your powered beam. and try to get through here, which is easier said than done, so we'll just let the dragon's tail do all of the damage. And then these enemies turn up from behind, but again the dragon's tail sorts them out. So I say, the dragon being basically invulnerable to everything does come in rather handy. But you can't make the mistake of constantly relying on it, because you're bound to do what I keep doing, mistiming it and still losing a life. Now the Dragon's Breath power up there is fully powered, so even though I'm picking up the red ones there, they aren't doing anything. That's purely just score. So we are now approaching the boss. Here is the fucker. Now he hangs around in this thing for a while, but he does eventually come out of here. There he is. Trouble is, he well, yeah, I was going to say, surely I haven't beaten him. No, I've never actually beaten the boss, so yeah, fucking good luck here. Because the fact that, you know, I'm not actually shooting it where it needs to be shot isn't helping my cause very much. But there we go, I've got the bastard. So despite getting off to a dismal start, I've completed stage 1. Now there is a time limit on each level, which as you know by now I absolutely fucking detest, but in this one the time level is 4 minutes, so it gives you a fair whack of time, and believe me, you need it. But of course, in typical Irem fashion, now you really do need to keep your power-ups. If you lose them, which you will do every time you lose a life, of course, you lose every single one, you are really up shit creek. Yeah, I'll get the blue one. Yeah, I'm starting to wish I hadn't bothered. I won't bother landing to pick those up, because, well, yes they are handy, but they're not so handy that I'm okay with getting myself, you know, killed in the process, which I almost certainly will do. Now, I could actually do with getting that red one, because that, yeah, just gives me back my Dragon Breath ability. And I've gone and got myself fucking shot. Actually, it's just as well it was game over, because I was never going to get fuck all anywhere. Oh, fuck it, I tell you what, let's just continue, because I don't really want to have too long a go on here. So here we are now with no power-ups at all. Now I have the minimum Dragon Breath. Christ, I'm amazed I'm getting as far as I am. So I've now got the second. Oh, this fucking game is killing my arm. It seems to be a complaint I have with shoot 'em ups a hell of a lot nowadays. I'm just getting too old for this fucking thing. I mean, although, yes, the game is fucking unbearably annoying and frustrating and everything else, but it fucking hell, I'm on the fucking level 2 boss. I don't know where the fuck I'm meant to go here. I assume I'm meant to shoot that fucking eye or something, yeah. Yeah. So how far back is it going to put me? Far enough. So yeah, it's frustrating, you know, just like R-Type, just like every fucking RM game, you know, after, what do you call it, after Moon Patrol. but it is not as frustrating as R-Type, but then that's really not saying very much. You know, saying a game is not as frustrating as R-Type is saying, you know, that being hanged isn't quite as bad as being put in the electric chair. You know, it's still fucking frustrating. It's still, oh fucking yeah. You know, it's still the sort of game that can send your blood pressure through the fucking roof and into orbit. It's just not quite as unbearable as R-Type. You know, core, there's a claim to fame. They should have advertised it as such. Not quite as annoying as R-Type. You know, that would have got the crowds flocking in. Well, the sad thing is, it probably would have got the crowds flocking in. I had a shitty power up there, I couldn't do anything. So, no, I'm not going to continue. Oh, I get to put my name in. Lucky old me. This is going to take for ages. I'm going to write out fucking Lukozer. Why couldn't I have chosen a name that was fucking easier to put in here? There you go. Whoa. Do I want another go? My fucking army's killing me. Alright, one more. See if I can actually get off to a better start than I did on that first go. I can't really get off to a worse start. I did utter shite then. So, right, off we go. So I think one of the reasons why it's not as frustrating as R-Type is that you start off with the shield thing, you know, so you do have this defensive capability right from the get-go, whereas in R-Type you can start off with absolutely fuck all and you're having to try and get somewhere, you know, whilst not actually being able to do very much. So now I'm in slightly better nick. Actually, when I say you can't do very much at the start of R-Type, what I mean is you can't really defend yourself. So here we are again with these fuckers. Oh fuck me, that was close. Right, jump straight back on. Oh, fucking lucky there and all. Anyway, oh bollocks, I picked up the wrong fucking thing. I didn't want this power up. It's not terrible, but I don't have the Dragon Breath, which I really want. Fuck it, after all that fucking missed. Send the tail up here, and then these fuckers that come along from behind, yeah, dispatch them, and then it's more of these fuckers here. This is where I really wanted that Dragon Breath ability, and I haven't got it now. Right, let's go and get it, there we go. Close. So now that I've actually got off to a decent start, that will mean that on this go, I'm going to fuck up against the boss here. There's another area here where I could land, but there's no point because it doesn't have any power-ups that I want. Yeah, it's that white one again. Oh. Right. So here we go then with the boss. So I got here now without losing a life. Now, how long will this last? Let's get rid of that fucker. Now it's this thing again I need to take care of. Mind you, I say, I've only beaten that fucking boss once, so the fact that I did it at all was nothing short of fucking miraculous. So on with the review then while I'm suffering this again. Graphically it looks okay, in the same way that R-Type looks okay. Basically the graphics are very R-Type-esque, there's no surprise. I think every bloody game this lot did after R-Type was very R-Type-esque. Sound effects, again, it's all very R-Type-esque. It's like Irem decided they were going to rest on their laurels with the success of R-Type and make every other game they did some, you know, very similar to it. And the gameplay, it's ridiculously hard. It's unbelievably frustrating. There's almost no fun to be had from playing the game because of the sky high difficulty level. Yeah, I don't really need to add too much more, do I? I mean, it's not a 0 out of 10 game though, because the difficulty level, I say, there's worse out there, such as R-Type. But yeah, it is still very fucking frustrating, so, you know, I will score it, I don't know what to fucking score it, not much, but and the problem with it is that it came out at the same time as Saint Dragon, and the two games are so fucking similar, and the idea is nigh on identical, and yet from what I've heard and read, it is purely coincidence. You know, they're not from the same series or anything like that. It is just that you know, this was being made at the same time as Saint Dragon, and they were both released around the same time as well. It's a coincidence that I would normally have found very difficult to believe, and certainly back in the day I would have just said, nah, you're fucking having us on. But it turns out to be true. Oh fuck it, I wasn't watching what I was doing. So now I've got no fucking power-ups and I've got to try to plough my way through this lot. Yeah, okay. Right, what power does that give me? The yellow one. Don't really want it. That'll power it up a bit. I don't really want to land anywhere in this level just to get that power up, that red one. Well, I want the red power up. I will only have like the lowest power version of it if I pick it up, so not really worth doing. Fucking arm is killing me. Oh, you fucking prick. Can't let it be game over. Oh, fucking hell. See, I've got the red power up, but it's so low powered. Get another one, that helps. What about that? Oh, that's all white, don't want that. Right, you, that's another red one. Oh, There you go, game over. Alright, so I will give this 2 out of 10. I'm not a fan at all, but so I don't utterly despise it like I do R-Type. So, you know, it could have been worse. I have a feeling that a review of R-Type will be coming, but I will delay it for as long as possible. And the fact that starting tomorrow, in fact hopefully this time tomorrow, I'll be uploading videos of me playing No Man's Sky, so there may be a bit of a wait for the R-Type review. That's a shame, isn't it? So anyway, there we go. That is Dragon Breed from Irem from 1989. 2 out of 10. I hate the game, but not as much as I hate almost every other Irem game from this era. So that brings this review to an end, and we shall see you at the next one.